Welcome to ASportsZones, hub to sports world news. Update on basketball: the NBA's heightened vigilance against tampering announced Friday will only be as successful as the team owners' commitment to stopping it or, at least, having the league enforce their rules against them. An increase in fines for tampering, for entering into unauthorized agreements with players and even for talking about players under contract elsewhere passed unanimously, Commissioner Adam Silver said, in a vote of the Board of Governors. Final figures still were to be determined, though reports have suggested the maximum fines could rise to $10 million for tampering, $6 million for improper deals and $5 million for comments enticing other teams' players. Tougher penalties, however, only matter if the league's 30 franchises have the will to do what it takes to impose them, and the discipline not to do what triggers them. The meetings this week and Friday's vote didn't only give Silver a bigger stick to wield against such violations, they encouraged him to use it. Please subscribe in our YouTube channel and follow and like us on Facebook #ASportsZones. Visit our site at www.asportszones.com for more sports update. The message of the board: you need to do a better job enforcing the rules that are already on your books, Silver said, and do a better job ensuring that there is a culture around the league where people believe there are absolute consequences if you don't play by the rules. The frenzied free agent market this off-season, for instance, raised red flags about teams' compliance with rules dictating when front office executives and players' representatives could begin negotiations. The number and enormity of deals that leaked out within minutes of the June 30 tip-off suggested that contract talks in many cases surely began before the designated period. There was a strong view of every single person in the room that we need to ensure that we're creating a culture of compliance in this league. Our teams want to know that they're competing on a level playing field, and frankly don't want to feel disadvantaged if they are adhering to our existing rules. Adam Silver. Also, as free agent Kawhi Leonard pondered his decision to leave Toronto, eventually signing with the Clippers, there was speculation that his representative may have sought benefits outside the salary cap provisions. Tampering is a transgression that's more troubling to some teams than others. While clubs such as Charlotte, Indiana and anyone who has a player Houston covets want rules to be strictly enforced, the Los Angeles Lakers dinged in the recent past for talking publicly about Paul George and Giannis Antetokounmpo while they still were under contract have fared well in flouting them. Integrity and transparency have become buzzwords around the halls of Olympic Tower, the NBA's headquarters in New York, as they relate to traditional priorities such as fans' trust and new ones such as legal sports betting. For instance, the decision this week to have coaches submit their starting lineups earlier from 10 minutes prior to tip-off to 30 minutes beginning this season is widely seen as a nod to wagering, providing more time to know which key players will or won't be available for a given game. Teams will be permitted to amend those lineups if a player sustains or aggravates an injury during pre-game warm-ups. Dialing up the dollar amounts was the big move Friday, but Silver has other tools in his box to penalize teams that might view fines as a cost of doing business if it helps them land a prized free agent. Remember, the Clippers were fined $50,000 in May after coach Doc Rivers compared Leonard to Michael Jordan in an ESPN interview. 2 months later, Leonard was on Rivers' roster. The league already had the authority to strip draft picks, suspend team personnel and void contracts for the most egregious violations. Fining authority unto itself may be one of the least effective tools, Silver said. All of those other provisions are on the table. Enforcing the rules, beyond just imposing penalties after the fact, will require some serious policing by the NBA. Owners and top basketball executives will be required to certify that they will not engage in improper negotiations with players or their reps, giving the league more clout if they subsequently violate the rules. 5 teams reportedly will be audited annually, with the framework on the extent of the league's reach still in the works. If you have any comments or suggestion, feel free to comment below. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe in our YouTube channel and follow and like us on Facebook #ASportsZones. For more sports update, visit our site at www.asportszones.com. Do not forget to click the notification bell.